It is good to see you. I want you to open up your Bible over to 2 Samuel. 2 Samuel chapter 9, verse 1 to verse 17. Verse 1 to verse 17 of 2 Samuel chapter 9. Are we good? Once you have it, say I do. Sorry, where am I? Please, just excuse me. What? Okay, I have the wrong thing open here in front of me. I have the wrong thing here open. Let me let me just open the right situation here. Okay, verse 1 to verse 13. Because I knew that that's wrong. I can't, there's no verse 17. Verse 1 to verse 13. Nobody corrected. No, like everybody was just like, hey guys, verse 1 to verse 17. Verse 13. 2 Samuel chapter 9, verse 1 to verse 13. We don't look good as a unit, guys. There are new people here. There are visitors here. And we don't look good to the visitors as a unit. As a unit, this doesn't look good. We're still talking about the power of resourcefulness, and today we are wrapping up on the power of resourcefulness. We're wrapping up on the power of resourcefulness here tonight, and more specifically, we're talking about resourcefulness in relationships. We're talking about resourcefulness in relationships. Resourcefulness in relationships. I want you to put that in the comment section. Resourcefulness in relationships. We're gonna be in day 17 of unlocking favor with God and people, and I'm very excited for that. If you don't have a copy yet, you should get yourself a copy. By the way, if you so happen to be in Santon, I'm in Santon tomorrow. Like I told you, I ended up in the streets, and I've got a workshop that I'm gonna be at tomorrow morning. And then if you're in Santon and you get yourself a book, or if you're in Santon still waiting for a book, get one. I'll bring it to you because I'm your friend. Resourcefulness in relationships. Resourcefulness in relationships. If you haven't greeted everybody yet, I want you to greet them right there in the comment section. Don't be weird. Here's our scripture for that we're gonna open up with here tonight. 2 Samuel chapter 9, verse 1 to verse 13. David asked, "Is there anyone still left of the house of Saul to whom I can show kindness for Jonathan's sake?" David asked. Now remember, David is king at this point. He took over from Jonathan's father, who was Saul. And as king, as the king of an entire nation, he concerns himself with one person. He says, "Is there anyone still left of the house of Saul to whom I can show kindness for Jonathan's sake? For one man's sake, I will show kindness to his descendants, to his family members, to anybody related to him." Is there anybody related to him so that I can show kindness to them? In other words, The man doesn't know it. And spoiler alert, the man's name is Mephibosheth. He doesn't know it. But somewhere out there is somebody who is asking about him. He doesn't yet know exactly who he's asking about, but he is asking about him. And this man doesn't know it, but he will soon be located by the king, whose sole purpose is to show him kindness. That's all the king wants to do. All the king wants to do is to show him kindness. Say that's good. Now there was a servant of Saul's household named Ziba, or Ziba. They summoned him to appear before David, and the king said to him, "Are you Ziba?" "At your service," he replied. The king asked, "Is there no one still alive from the house of Saul to whom I can show God's kindness?" This is so good because, listen, David is insistent. David will not rest. David is determined to find somebody to whom he will show kindness. That person did not even earn it. That person did not even work for it. David right now, this person doesn't even know that David is looking for him. He is looking around. He says, "Is there anybody that I can find me a person to whom I can show kindness?" But it is not random. We've spoken about this. Yesterday I told you that favor is not random. It is not just random. It is for the sake of Jonathan. Why? Because Jonathan had shown great kindness to David. David and Jonathan had a bond that many of us could only dream of having with a friend. And so because of that, I want you to get me. Because of that, after Jonathan died, after he died, he was gone. And David was still looking to somehow repay his kindness. And it would fall on Jonathan's child. It would fall on Jonathan's son, who had a disability. That favor would find him because of his father, who had shown kindness and honor to David while he was still alive. The king asked, "Is there no one still alive from the house of Saul to whom I can show God's kindness?" Ziba answered, or Ziba, however, I don't know how you say that. He answered the king, "There is still a son of Jonathan. He is lame in both feet." There is still a son of Jonathan. He is lame in both feet. "Where is he?" the king asked. "Where is he?" Ziba answered, "I don't know." Okay, let's decide. Are we going to call him Ziba or are we going to call him Ziba? And I don't want anybody here who doesn't speak the actual language to say, no, the correct one. Okay. We're going to call him Zistos. Zistos answered, "He is at the house of Machir, the son of Amiel, in Lodabar." So King David had him brought from Lodabar, from the house of Machir, son of Amiel. When Mephibosheth, son of Jonathan, the son of Saul, came to David, he bowed down to pay him honor. David said, "Mephibosheth, at your service," he replied. "Don't be afraid," David said to him, "for I will surely show you kindness for the sake of your father Jonathan. I will surely show you kindness for the sake of your father Jonathan. I will restore to you all the land that belonged to your grandfather Saul, and you will always eat at my table. I want you to get something, that there is something really powerful about this, because David, the current king, in those days, if you go look up the context, if you go look up the history, in those days, what would happen would be that when a new king rises to power, what he would do is he would find anyone who would be a potential descendant to the throne, a potential heir to the throne. They would find them and they would put them to death to avoid anybody claiming the throne at any point. That was what was normal. And so when Mephibosheth was called and was told that David is looking for you, he would have thought to himself, oh, this is bad. He wants to make sure that no one from our family can claim the throne. He wants to make sure that nobody can claim the throne. But when he finds him, he says to him, I want to show you kindness for the sake of your father. For the sake of your father. Let me tell you something. We see in the life of Jonathan and David, while they walked together as friends, we see them in different contexts, right? At one point, we see Jonathan and David make a covenant together, and it got to a point where it says that he loved him as himself. They had a genuine friendship. They had a deep and personal commitment towards one another. I want you to get this. They were not related. They had a deep and personal commitment to one another. It was selfless. And it was because of this that Jonathan's descendant, Jonathan's son, even though he was lame on both feet, would be sorted for the rest of his life. Right? He would be sorted for the rest of his life. There is another time where we see Jonathan interceding for David's safety to his father Saul, who wanted to kill David. Jonathan's father Saul wanted to kill David. He was the current king, and he had a suspicion that David would take over the throne one day, and so he wanted to kill David. And listen, here's an important thing. It's fascinating because Jonathan knew that he himself was the next king, right? Jonathan was the son of the king, but somehow he caught the vision, and he knew that the throne belonged to David. And he would intercede for David. Even though it would mean that he wouldn't get to claim the throne after his father. He had a personal commitment to him. In another instance, we see Jonathan warning David, saying, listen, my father is coming for you. You need to run away. You need to hide. You need to find safety. Doing that all for David, right? In another instance, we see Jonathan showing up to David. It says in 1 Samuel 23 verse 16. 1 Samuel 23 verse 16, it says, and Saul's son Jonathan went to David at Horesh and helped him find strength in God. That's what Jonathan would do for David. And so no wonder, after Jonathan had died, David has this heavy weight on him that says, there's no way that I can pay this back to Jonathan. So is there anybody related to him that I can show kindness to for the sake of Jonathan? Tonight we're talking about resourcefulness in relationships. We're talking about resourcefulness in relationships. How do we multiply the impact of our relationships? How do we multiply the value of our relationships? How do we better serve the people in our lives so that we can better be positioned for favor with God and favor with people in these relationships? How do we become better at stewarding these relationships? How do we better pay honor to people who are in our lives? My friend, I want you to understand, you have no idea what will come from the seeds of honor that you have sown in your life. Some of those seeds of honor were sown years ago and you still haven't seen them blossom yet. But you just wait on God. God is no debtor to man. God will not leave anybody with a debt. Right? And so, whatever it is that we have sown, we will reap. There is great power in honoring the relationships that we have been entrusted with. Our relationships can open doors. Listen to me, they can open doors. And it's important for us to get this, because if we don't get this, if we don't miss it, we might end up every time we find ourselves stuck, we are looking for new relationships. We are looking for new relationships. So many people today, so many people on the other side of my voice right now, they're thinking that your breakthrough is in a relationship that you don't have. I'm not saying it isn't. Yes, you could meet somebody tomorrow whom you've never met before, and your whole life could change from that one relationship. But I want you to understand, there are certain relationships in your life right now. We spoke about this, I believe it was on day 4, day 3. It was one of those. But there is so much power in those personal relationships. How do you steward them? How do you take care of them? And then here's what it goes on to say. Here's what our text goes on to say. He says to him, in verse 7, David says to Mephibosheth, "Don't be afraid," David said to him, "for I will surely show you kindness for the sake of your father Jonathan. I will restore to you all the land that belonged to your grandfather Saul, and you will always eat at my table." Mephibosheth bowed down and said, "What is your servant that you should notice a dead dog like me?" Then the king summoned Zistos. The king summoned Zistos, Saul's steward, and said to him, "I have given your master's grandson everything that belonged to Saul and his family. Everything that was lost." You can only imagine Mephibosheth while he was growing up as a kid being told that, hey, listen, you know you come from royalty. Because he was still just a baby. He was still a baby. And by the way, that's the fascinating thing. This is years later. He was a baby when his family lost the throne. That's why he ended up lame. When the nurses were running away with him, they dropped him. And so he is living his whole life suffering from a condition that he did not bring on himself. They simply dropped him when he was a child. And now here he is. Now here he is. Everything that he would have been told you had lost, all coming back to him. David, in a moment, he says, everything that belonged to your grandfather, who was king, I am giving it back to you. Everything that belonged to your grandfather, it is coming back to you today. He says, plus, you will sit at the king's table. It says, you and your sons and your servants are to farm the land for him and bring in the crops so that your master's grandson may be provided for. And Mephibosheth, the grandson of your master, will always eat at my table. I want you to get this. He must be overwhelmed because here he is, he showed up, and when he gets in, David says, this is what that land, it's yours again. That it's yours again. That it's yours again. That it's yours again. And then he says, you are going to work the land, and you are going to give you are going to make sure that he never lacks again. Everything he needs will be provided for. He will always have everything that he needs all the time. It's powerful. That's really, really powerful. From one relationship. Can I just say to us, some of us here in the very same way, some of us here, some of you listening to me right now, your children will reap the rewards of the honor that you've shown to people today. The kindness that you have shown to people, your children will reap the rewards. One day, your child will knock on a door, and they will look at those papers and say, okay, sit down. Vilakazi from where? Heban. Vilakazi from Soweto. Where does your father come from? My father comes from Vilakazi Street, there by Vilakazi Corner. Let's put these papers aside. Let me tell you what your father did for me. What do you need? What do you need? I want you to understand. Hear me out. Hear me out. Some of us here tonight, and when that happens, when moments like that fall upon you, it seems so unfair. It really doesn't seem right. Let me tell you something. Sometimes I get chills when I imagine that one day my children will knock on certain doors, and they will say, I'm Poloko Magolane the third. Because I'm going to push for that. Poloko Magolane the third. You lie. What? Really? And doors open. Favor flows. But it doesn't just happen. Listen to me. It doesn't just happen. Somebody somewhere has to sow the seeds. Somebody somewhere has to work the ground. Listen, somebody somewhere has to prepare for it. Right? And then it becomes things like that. We name it all kinds of things. No, it's professor. You can call it whatever you want. But I'll tell you right now, when I see I wish I came from a family that had it, that had the ability to just open doors for me. You think I wouldn't have walked through there because I'm concerned they're gonna think it's nepotism. They're gonna think it's nepotism. They're gonna think it's nepotism. No. You hear what I'm saying? It could never. And so I'm saying this to you, and remember, I told you this already. I told you that what happens when it comes to this idea of favor, for many of us, because of the way that we have been programmed, because it has become normalized that it's okay to struggle. It's better if you struggle for it. It's better if you keep on hitting the ground without anything happening. It's better that way. It's better that way. And so what we do is we reject favor at every single opportunity that we get. No, I want to earn it myself. Okay. Sure. It's fine. It's okay. Mephibosheth had a young son named Micah, and all the members of Zisto's household were servants of Mephibosheth. And Mephibosheth lived in Jerusalem because he always ate at the king's table. And then it lets us know he was lame in both feet. He was lame in both feet, but he always ate at the king's table. Why? Because his father Jonathan cultivated a relationship that would result in unmerited favor for him. Some of us, it might not even have to be that long. Some of us might not even have to wait until it's our children. Some of us here tonight will be the direct recipients. Some of us here will be the direct recipients of that kindness because of the seeds of honor that we sowed. Have a look at day 17. Have a look at day 17 of unlocking favor with God and people. Day 17. And we're talking about the resourcefulness in relationships, building favor through honor and initiative. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 3 and verse 4. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 3 to 4. Here's what it says. Do not let kindness and truth leave you. Bind them around your neck. Write them on the tablet of your heart. Then you will win favor and a good name in the sight of God and man. If you are a kind person, pretty much, listen, if you are a kind person, you will win favor with both God and people. With both God and people. And don't even say, when I'm always in Nagore, I'm always like that. You know, I just need to pray just that I would be more kind. You don't need to pray that you will be more kind. You just need to be kind. Okay. Romans chapter 12 verse 10. Romans chapter 12 verse 10 says, love one another with brotherly affection. Outdo one another in showing honor. Outdo one another in showing honor. It doesn't matter what is going on. Listen. They show you favor, or rather they show you honor, they show you kindness. You outdo them in that. They get you a gift, you go and sit down and you plot. You say, okay, so you think you got me. You think you got me. I see. You think you got me because you got me that gift. Got it. You're not ready for this one. Yeah, let's see how you do that one. Let's see how you do that one. It says, outdo one another. Outdo one another in showing honor. You get that? We often associate resourcefulness with money, ideas, and opportunities. But one of the most important areas where we must learn to be resourceful is in how we relate to people. One of the most important areas where we must learn to be resourceful is in how we relate to people. You'll understand this some more as we go along. Your relationships are either your greatest doorways to favor or the greatest limiters of it. Your relationships are either your greatest doorways to favor or the greatest limiters of it. Your relationships. When you look at your phone and you just look around, you just search around, you just, there's no one I can call. You mean to tell me there's no one? No one. Some of us got those friends that you have to coach before you go somewhere. When we get there, don't embarrass me. Let's leave. Let's leave once. God uses, and here's the truth. God uses people to bless people. God uses people to bless people. Favor isn't just up there, waiting to fall from heaven. Many times, it's in the hands, voices, and decisions of people around you. Listen, favor isn't just up there, waiting to fall from heaven. Many times, it's in the hands, voices, and decisions of people around you. The question is, how are you stewarding those connections? How are you stewarding those connections? It's right here. And it was important that we bring this back again, because we spoke about this, we mentioned this a little bit when we spoke about the power of relationships, but it's really important that we understand this idea of favor with God and favor with people, favor with God and favor with people. The people who are thriving on relationships are not, and I want you to get, they are not evil because they are thriving on relationships. You are not better than them just because you don't have relationships. Does that even make sense? Listen to me. As believers, we ought to learn. We ought to learn how to steward the connections in our lives. We do it through honor. We do it through initiative. Right? We do it through being mindful. Finding opportunities to serve, finding opportunities to give, finding opportunities to encourage, finding opportunities to just add value to the lives of the people around us. That's how we do it. We don't take people for granted thinking, as long as I have God, God will do it for me. Listen. You will spit in people's face and you will pray that God will open a door for you, and he will bring you to a door that has the face of the person you spit on. He'll bring you right there to that person. Don't take relationships for granted. Understand, listen, the favor that you are looking for, that you are asking for, it's in people's hands, it's in their voices, it's in their decisions. That's where it is. So, what is relational resourcefulness? What is relational resourcefulness? By the way, I'm reading from the ebook today. Relational resourcefulness is the wisdom to recognize divine connections. So, recognize divine connections. You got that? In other words, let me put it to you this way. Not all relationships are the same. Yeah. Not all relationships are the same. That's just what it is. Some people in your life are more important than others. It doesn't mean that God loves some of them more than he loves others. No, that's not what it means. God loves everybody. It's fine. You are still God's child. But I'm not going to put you in the position of that person. Not all relationships are the same. And once again, there is nothing wrong with that understanding. That the relationships in our lives come in different forms, and some of them are divine connections that must be valued and honored and must not be taken for granted. Some of them are relationships that are irreplaceable. You hear what I'm saying? You listen. Sometimes there you meet one person, and you can put all the people you've ever met in your life together, and they wouldn't be as important as this one person. And sometimes it's not your day one that you grew up in the same street as. So, relational resourcefulness is the wisdom to recognize divine connections. Honor the people God brings into your life. It is the wisdom to honor the people God brings into your life. Add value where you can. Add value where you can. Initiate and nurture meaningful connections. Initiate and nurture meaningful connections. Sometimes you don't know what's meant for me will find me. Sometimes initiate relationships. Say hi. My name is, right? Initiate and nurture meaningful connections. You don't have to be everybody's friend, but initiate and nurture some meaningful connections. Serve with sincerity, not selfish ambition. Serve with sincerity, not selfish ambition. Very important. Listen, not running around saying, you guys still want some more ice, just so you can get something as well out of the purchase. It's about being intentional with people. It's about being intentional with people, not transactional. It's about being intentional with people, not transactional. It's knowing that you may not have money or influence yet, but if you have honor, humility, and initiative, you have more than enough to start unlocking favor. Listen, it's knowing that you may not have money or influence yet, but if you have honor and if you have humility and initiative, you have more than enough to start unlocking favor. Listen, yes, you cannot play golf with them, but it is limited thinking to think that just because you can't play golf with them, there is no way that you can add value. There is no way that you can honor them. There's no way that you can that you can nurture that relationship. It's foolishness. It's limited, right? It doesn't take money to honor people. It doesn't take money. It doesn't take influence to serve people. It doesn't take that. Here are some biblical examples of resourceful relationships. Number one is David and Jonathan. We just spoke about them. Right? David and Jonathan, who had mutual honor. David had the anointing. Jonathan had the access. Let me say that again. In the early part of their lives, while they were just friends and David was not yet king, David had the anointing. Jonathan had the access. He was the son of a king. David, on the other hand, listen, he was the guy that was anointed to be the next king. Although he didn't yet have access to the throne, he was that guy though. And instead of letting jealousy or politics get in the way, Jonathan chose honor. Instead of letting jealousy or politics get in the way, Jonathan chose honor. Once again, he was the son of the king, and he still didn't let the politics get in the way. He still didn't let that. You know how many people foolishly ruin relationships today? Because now I'm a blah 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 forever. Yay. What? Do you not know that politicians are pursuing their own careers for their own means? Do you not know that politicians are trying to access generational wealth for their own children? Do you really think they sit around and think about your children and your future and your life? Do you not think that the vision is part of the plan? How many people foolishly ruin relationships simply because, no, I can't be with people like that. You guys are ruining the country by voting for... Hey! Are you not aware? Are you not aware? You thought anybody's out there fighting for you. That's what you thought for real. You really believe anybody's out there fighting for you. Okay. 1 Samuel chapter 18 verse 3 and verse 4. Jonathan made a covenant with David. Jonathan made a covenant with David. And then in verse 4 it says, and gave him his robe, tunic, sword, bow, and belt. They had a covenant. David wasn't royalty yet, but Jonathan's honor of him helped position David in the palace long before he ever wore the crown. David, in return, would later honor Jonathan's memory by showing favor to his son Mephibosheth. Right? He would do that. We just read about that. In 2 Samuel chapter 9 verse 1, he starts off by saying, is there anyone still left in the house of Saul to whom I can show kindness for Jonathan's sake? Relational favor flows in both directions. It multiplies through honor. It multiplies through honor. And some of us, listen, some of us, we keep talking about these destiny helpers, and the moment they get there, the moment these people appear in our lives, we squander the relationship. We waste it. You know why? Because every day, listen, they didn't know what they were doing when they said, call me if you need anything. You're my way. Yo, my tummy hurt. I haven't eaten today. Lazy, yo. And then tomorrow, yo, my brother, he's stuck in Kalahari and he needs, yo, my mother, she's sick, her hip. And then tomorrow, yo, I have flu, if you can just get me. And then the following day, and then the following day, and then the following day, and then the following. And then at the end of the day, it's just like, right? All they did, they just said, call me if you need anything. Now, come on, huh? Come on. Let's think about it. When are you making the deposit? When are you making the deposit? When are you pouring into their lives? When are you pouring into their lives? That one day when they answer the phone, you surprise them. Not because now you've made it. Not one day when I make it, because you know how we sometimes be. Sometimes that's how we are. One day when I make it, this one, regular cold drink. Yeah, I'm gonna get you cold drink when I make it. Not one day, right now. Right now, there is a way for you to serve. There is a way for you to honor them. Not just, listen, not just in your own head, but there is a way to honor them. You hear what I'm saying? And then you have another example, which was Ruth and Naomi. Another great relationship was Ruth and Naomi. And here we see loyalty that unlocks legacy. We see loyalty that would later unlock legacy. When Ruth followed Naomi back to Bethlehem, she wasn't chasing provision. She was demonstrating covenant loyalty. She said in Ruth chapter 1 verse 16, as I would appreciate for my wife to one day say, where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God will be my God. She is saying this to her mother-in-law. To her mother-in-law. Her mother-in-law, who is a widow, and she's a widow as well. The men in their lives have passed away, and here she is. Her mother-in-law says, go back to your people. And she says, I'm not going back to my people. I am not going back to my people. She says, when I chose your son, I really chose you guys. Where you go, I'll go. Where you stay, I'll stay there. Right? So your people will be my people, your God will be my God. And her relational faithfulness opened doors she never could have opened on her own. She became part of the lineage of Jesus. That's in Ruth chapter 1 verse 16. That's in Ruth chapter 1 verse 16. Her relational faithfulness opened doors she never could have opened on her own. She became part of the lineage of Jesus. Sometimes your loyalty to the right person is the seed of generational favor. Sometimes your loyalty to the right person is the seed of generational favor. Another example is Esther and Mordecai. Another great example is Esther and Mordecai. And here we see the power of mutual honor. Esther didn't forget who raised her. Even as queen, she honored Mordecai's wisdom. When the nation was at risk, Mordecai's insight combined with Esther's access brought about divine deliverance. Esther's favor with the king wasn't just a result of beauty. It was her ability to wisely steward the people in her life. She listened, she prayed, and she acted with boldness. The Bible is full of moments where honor unlocked divine opportunities. The widow at Zarephath honored Elijah with her last meal and experienced supernatural provision. We've went through that many times. You can find it in 1 Kings 17. 1 Kings 17, verse 8 to verse 16. That's where it is. The Shunammite woman is another great example. The Shunammite woman in 2 Kings chapter 4, verse 8 to verse 17, you'll find it there. The Shunammite woman built a room for Elisha and was rewarded with a son. She showed hospitality and she was rewarded with a son. Cornelius honored God with generosity and prayer. And he and his household became the first Gentiles to receive the Holy Spirit. That's in Acts chapter 10. Honor unlocks favor. Listen, honor unlocks favor. Not just upward, which means to lead us, but sideways as well, which is to peers, and downward to those that you serve. It is the kingdom currency for relational breakthrough. It is the kingdom currency for relational breakthrough. Becoming a person of initiative. Listen to this. Are you getting tired? Don't get tired. You're too fast. I'm sorry, I'm too tired. It's because time. You see, time moves fast when we're having fun. A favor doesn't always come to those who wait. Favor doesn't come to those. Favor doesn't always come to those who wait. Sometimes it comes to those who initiate. Sometimes it comes to those who initiate. Not just waiting. Listen. Just not just sitting there and saying, what's meant for me will find me. Initiative. Joseph didn't just interpret dreams. He offered help. He offered help. Nehemiah didn't wait for someone else to rebuild the wall. He took initiative. He took initiative. Right? The Good Samaritan didn't pass by the hurting man. He got involved. People who move in favor often move first. Let me say that again. People who move in favor often move first. Here's what they do. They reach out first. They serve first. They give first. They encourage first. They forgive first. You don't now match energy. Now I match energy. I match energy. Okay, I'm sorry for saying it like that. Now I match energy. I match energy. Just stop it. Stop it. Listen, if you are going to be a person who finds favor with God and favor with people, you move first. You move first. Be the first one to reach out. Be the first one to say, I'm sorry. Be the first one to encourage. Be the first one to give. They never give to me. They never give to me. Be the first one. Open the door. Can I tell you something? I remember I was 19 years old. 19 years old, and that time I didn't have a job. I had just come out of high school. I didn't have a job for that year. I was just serving in the church. And while I was in the church, I remember at the end of the year, it's December, everybody's talking about getting gifts for so-and-so, getting gifts for so-and-so. And I'm surrounded by all these white people who are talking about getting gifts for their families, and all of these also bourgeoisie, black people who are buying gifts for Christmas. And at home, nobody's buying gifts for anybody at home. Nobody is buying gifts for anybody. And I still remember, because it was December, that the pastor decided that because I wasn't getting a salary, I was just a volunteer. He decided to just gift me 1,000 rands. He said, here you go, 1,000 rands, have fun. You know what I did? I still remember, I went to the mall, and I went to, listen, whatever I could find and fit within the 1,000 rand. I said, I want to get everybody a gift. I want to start something. I want to get it. Listen, I remember I got these little glasses from Mr. Price for my sister. I remember I went and got the real deal, that assorted, Baker's assorted. Yeah, the box of biscuits. That was a gift for my mother. I was just like, man, I wanna do that too, because I was around these people. They were talking about how they're getting gifts for other people, and I was like, I just want to do something. And then I called them. They said my aunt is at home. I said, my goodness, I got some spoons. I just got a bunch of stuff, and I remember I didn't even know what to do. I didn't know to get gift bags. I just put everything in the sports bag that I had, put everything in there, and then when I arrived, I just opened. I opened and here you go, guys, here you go. And you know what happened? The following Christmas, because I wasn't living at home. The following Christmas, they called and they said, where are you? Are you coming home for Christmas? I showed up, and when I showed up, there was my mother just giving gifts to everybody. No, they already got their gifts. Here's yours. Open yours. Right? But hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. Move first. You move first. Don't delay your own breakthrough by thinking to yourself, if they don't move, I don't move. If they don't do this, I don't do this. Initiate. So I'm going to say it again. People who move in favor. People who move in favor. And I will say this by God's grace, and God knows that I don't say this with braggadociously or in any twisted way. God knows, listen to me, I live by God's favor. I live by God's favor, my friend. You know what I learned? I discovered you always move first. You always serve first. You always give first. You always forgive first. You always encourage first. You always reach out first. That's what you do. You hear what I'm saying? They don't wait to be asked to lead. They lead. They don't wait to be appreciated. They add value. And as a result, God causes people to open doors for them. As a result, God causes people to open doors for them. So here are some practical ways to be resourceful in your own relationships. Here are some practical ways that you can be resourceful in your own relationships. Right there in the comment section, I want you to say, I'm going to do it. Say, I'm going to do it. Because I really want to believe that I'm not wasting my time. Say, I'm going to do it. Before I read this, I want you to say, I'm going to do it. Okay, that's enough of you. Yeah, if 10 of you do it, that's good. Here are some practical ways to be resourceful in relationships. Number one, very basic, pray for divine connections. Pray for divine connections. Make it a prayer point. Make it something that you pray about intentionally. Ask God to align you with people connected to your destiny. Some people are keys, others are doors. So ask God to align you with people who are connected to your destiny. He will do it. Number two, very important. Study people's needs. Study people's needs. My friend, study people's needs. Look for where you can add value. What do they need that you can offer without manipulation or expectation? What do they need that you can offer without manipulation or expectation? What is it? What do people need? Study them. Study the people in your lives. What do they need? The people who are important to you. Study their needs. Listen, don't be lazy and say, you're gonna wait, and he doesn't need anything. He doesn't need anything. No, that's lazy. That's weak. That's weak. Observe. You'll find something. Right? You will find something. Don't just conclude there's nothing I can do for them. What do they need? Study people's needs. Number three, be quick to serve, not just speak. Be quick to serve, not just speak. Actions create trust. Listen, actions create trust. Be known as someone who follows through. Let that be known of you. Listen, okay, listen. All of us know somebody who, when they say something, it's like, okay. Yeah, listen, when they say, When is your birthday? When is your birthday? Don't worry about my birthday. Don't anger me. Don't anger me. It's not the first time you asked me for my birthday. You asked me for my birthday back in 2010. That year when we were at the Fan Fest for the FIFA World Cup. You asked me about my birthday. Since then you've been promising for my birthday. Just don't, leave it alone. It's my birthday. It's not yours. It's not yours. It's mine. Leave my birthday alone. Because you just know. You just know. They just always have a promise. They just always are doing something. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Something is coming. Right? Listen. Be quick to serve. Not just speak. Be a doer. Let the people in your life know that when you say it, you will do it. When you promise it, it will be delivered. Number four, what you can also do, follow up and stay present. Follow up and stay present. Just check in, right? Send that message. Reconnect. You don't need money to be intentional. You don't need money. Listen, some of us here tonight, what needs to happen is you need to do this, and it might shock them at first, but now this is you. From now on, you will never mess up again. You just need to tell yourself, I will not mess up again. There's a call you need to make, and when you make that call, you say, hey, how you doing? And because they know you from back then, they know the old you, so they'll say, fine. Nah, I just want to check on you guys. How are the kids? They're fine. Okay. Nah, I just wanted to say, man, I miss you guys, and I was praying for you, and I hope all is well. Where are you? Are you at my gate? What's going on? No, I just wanted to listen. I was just checking in. That's it. Hope everything's good. Haven't spoken in a while, but that's gonna change now. Right? That's gonna change now. This does not include your ex. Leave them alone. So follow up and stay present. Right? Reconnect where you need to reconnect. Send a simple message. Right? Just encourage. And then number five. Avoid taking people for granted. Avoid taking people for granted. Listen. Familiarity can block favor. Never treat anyone, especially those closest to you, as ordinary. Some of us have forgotten how amazing it is that the people who chose you chose you. Some of us have forgotten this. Some of us, we've become so close. We know them so well. We have seen some of their flaws and weaknesses. However, oh my goodness. It has led us to a point where we take them for granted. Do not take people for granted. Avoid it. Do your best to not take people for granted. And even when you see it happening in yourself, when you see yourself doing it, catch yourself. Catch yourself. I don't care who it is. I don't care who it is. Whether it's your husband, it's your wife, it's your children, it's your parents, it's your friend, it's, a colleague, it's a mentor. Avoid taking people for granted. Familiarity can block favor, my friend. It can block favor. Every now and then, remind yourself of who this person really is. Every now and then, remind yourself of who this person really is. Don't just take them as anybody, as any random person. Remind yourself every now and then. Every now and then, remind yourself of who you're talking to, of who you're sitting with. When you pick up the phone, remind yourself, right? And find a way to honor them. All right, let's wrap this up with our reflection questions. Let's wrap this up with our reflection questions. Number one, are you ready? Write these down. I'm not repeating. I just remembered a teacher of mine. God bless her. Number one, who has God placed in my life that I've overlooked or taken for granted? Number one, who has God placed in my life that I've overlooked or taken for granted? You might want to write a name down if there is, right? You can write them down. Just write down who that is. Number two, what relationships have I been passive in that require more intentionality? What relationships have I been passive in that require more intentionality? You just assume that the relationship will always be fine. You just assume that everything will always be fine. Hey, what did I do? I didn't do anything wrong. You didn't do anything right either. Number three, what act of honor can I offer this week without expecting anything in return? What act of honor can I offer this week? What act of honor can I offer this week? Think about it. Not expecting anything, not trying to get anything. Is there an act of honor? Think about somebody. Think about a person. Think about... Listen, I've told you before, it doesn't matter who it is. When you realize, when you recognize a divine relationship that you have, you honor it. You honor it. Do you know that there are people who have no idea of some of the things that I did just as a way of sowing seeds of honor in their lives? They have no idea. Right? Because it wasn't for the recognition, it wasn't for anything. It was important for me to show honor. It was important for me to honor those people. Let no debt remain unpaid. Give love where it is due. Give honor where it is due. And remember, it's above, it's right next to you, and it's even below you. Don't take people for granted. Don't assume that relationships will always be okay. They'll always be there. Don't assume that it'll always work out. You'll always be able to pick up the phone and call them. Listen, there are certain relationships you won't even need to call them. They will know that you are in need and they will come to your rescue. But it doesn't just happen. It's not something that we just shout at the sky and hope comes down. We must be intentional in our relationships. Kindness, right? Kindness. Wherever you go, show kindness. Find a way to sow. Find a way to pour in. Reach out first. Give first. Encourage first. Forgive first. Be the first to move. Because you move in favor. Yeah, that's you. That's you. You are different now. You changed. You know, I love this. You are changing. You are changing. I don't care how you feel right now. I don't care. You feel like, this really showed me that I haven't been. You are changing. You are changing. That's the good news. Final thought. Final thought. Let's close off with this. God will often answer your prayer for favor by sending a person. And your ability to steward that person with honor, humility, and initiative will determine whether that relationship becomes a blessing or a missed opportunity. It'll determine whether it becomes a blessing or a missed opportunity. So, don't pray for open doors if you dishonor the keys. Don't pray for open doors if you dishonor the keys. May God help us.